colleague Chris said, what's the matter? I said, nothing. He says, you're pure white. And I said, I just couldn't go in. Half an hour later, I came down and I went in, and he was fine. So, was it me or was it not? I don't know. Wow. You can go that side as well.
What if you don't get crushed in there?
Just...
It'd probably do me good.
I did have... We've got court records here, and they are an important part. We still get asked for coroner's records. A while back, a few years back, I don't know if you would even remember, there was the miners were claiming for, the families were claiming when they died. We had organ retention, so there were the children who's had post-mortems, and the parents didn't know what organs had been kept in behind. And so we had a lot of people asking, but we had one man ring up and he said, my father has got silicosis, how do I claim? And I said, well, the first thing to do is everything goes through the coroner's office, so contact them. I said, but in the meantime, tell me his date of death and I'll check whether we've got the records. And he says, oh, he ain't died yet. Nothing like being prepared, is it? Love him as a son, wouldn't you?
Jeez.
And we get magistrates' court records, and they often ask us for, you know, court records.
Will I be in there? Is that too early?
Oh, I don't know. It might be. It depends whether you're child criminal or not. We also have adoption records. Everything is done through the adoption, through the courts.
Is it just for this area then?
Yeah,
6 towns?
Just for the 6 towns. All records we hold are just for the 6 towns. So that's an important part, because we do have people ask, you know, we've had people ask, I can't give you exact details, obviously, but if they've had somebody who's died and there's been an inquest and they are not happy with the result, or they didn't take note, there you go, that's the person who was behind the door. They go to the coroner's and say, look, I've heard my granddad's committed suicide or whatever, I want to know. So a lot of what we do is interesting, it is fun sometimes, but a lot of it is really, really important that we do to the families. I don't know if anybody else will be water coming down that will damage them, and these boxes will protect them for 24 hours, and in the meantime we can call a firm who will bring a great big juggernaut lorry. They are a disaster firm, sounds awful, a disaster firm, and it's a refrigerator, and they will freeze anything, and that will stop the documents deteriorating, and then they'll deal with them. So you're learning stuff. Might be boring, but you're learning stuff. Okay, shall we go further? Those are from about 1600, some of them. Yeah.
I thought I'd just pick something random, see if it's interesting. I do want to put it here in the dark.
Bless you. This is our loading bay.
Wow. 1939 to 1945. Many of employees of the Henry and Howden Sons Limited lost their lives in war service.
We've got a memorial to people who were killed in the Boer War, which was pre-World War I, and it was our... We got the books of memory of people for all 6 towns who died in the war. We've got, it's got civilian war dead, and there's one where up Cave Hill, opposite the market, we used for toilets, and there was a young lad who was only about 15, who was actually shot by an aeroplane coming out of a Stuka, shot him, and the bullet holes were still in the walls. And he died. It was, I mean, it's only 10 minutes to Dudley Road, but because of the chaos and everything, he bled to death. And his name is in the Book of Memory. Something actually.
Haunted toilets.
It's nice and warm in here.
It is, but it shouldn't be.
Oh, it shouldn't?
It should be cool temperature. We've got it, laminated, what there? Insulated. All of these books, everything we've got upstairs, there is a duplicate to, so that if it does get lost or damaged, we can replace it. There is stuff down here that there are no duplicates, but we will get them up for people. And when I talked about the top of the iceberg, you know, this is just after study stuff, and we've got 5 rooms of archives. Right, I'll take you in here and show you. Where we are now is below ground level. My colleague, she doesn't work here any longer, but a few years back, we only collect objects if it's part of a collection, but for some reason there was a mirror and it was leant against here, and she walked in and didn't put the light on in here, and with the reflection she saw a pair of boots walking towards her, not realising it was her. And to add that, you know, the icing on the cake was we had a caretaker who was round the corner sweeping. He didn't hear her because she was deaf. She didn't know he was there, so she'd frightened herself, run out and bumped into him. So even if it's haunted or not, I don't know. It is, some people do find it frightening down here. Some library staff, as I say, won't come down here. And Sophie, who works here now, when first started here, used to hate coming down here. She's not so bad now, but we've all experienced stuff.
The books.
I definitely want to.
Look at that. I know. Don't look. Afraid it happens.
See, that's what people think an archive looks like, but things, I mean, they don't get damaged. I mean, they come to us like that, but they could get further damaged. So that's why we box them up and we wrap them up. We'll come back in a bit because there's an archive I want to show you. Another colleague I work with started rolling the stacks and he leapt out like a belly dancer. We've never been in there so quick. Again, the tunnel that I talked about, I can't take you in because it is health and safety. There are no lights in there and it's a dirt floor. It would be good for most haunted actually to go in there.
Is it just behind here or something all around?
Yeah, there's a tunnel that runs parallel, and then there's another one that runs parallel with that.
Behind
that's
that bookshelf.
Pardon?
Behind the bookshelf.
Behind the books, yeah. There's two tunnels like that. There's one there and one there. We've got more books in that side tunnel, but the other one is where it's a dirt floor. There are the stalls for the horses, and there are no lights, so nobody's allowed to go in there.
What's a minute book?
Relax, man.
Is if there's a meeting or a committee meeting, somebody, and I've had to do it, has to write down everything that's said and what's got to be done, and those are called the minutes. I don't know why they're called minutes.
You got loads of minute books.
It is to some people who work down here. We don't find it scary, but there's some people who really do find it. And if you're here on your own...
Yeah, it's not that bad when you're with people. But if
I wouldn't come down here by myself either.
I won't come down here.
No.
I
wouldn't.
Imagine
how old some of these books are.
Imagine if the door locked when you're using here on yourself. Oh my god.
And it starts turning and pushing.
I reckon the YMCA.
This is where we do our scanning and stuff. Yeah. And I've got, as I say, I've got an open mind, but I've worked down here. And I have heard footsteps from the door we came through to the first door. And the first time I heard it, I thought it was Matt, who I work with, going in room 1. And then, literally, seconds later, the footsteps started again and went to the same door. And I thought, oh, you know, kids come down. Then I heard them again, and I got up. I wasn't frightened, but I got up and I looked, and nobody was there. After the 5th time, I went upstairs, not because I was frightened, but I was just bloody fed up of getting up and seeing who was there. And there's a lot of people who've actually worked down here who've said, if you're sitting here, you can feel somebody behind you. I have felt that, but I think you feel that anyway if you're on your own. We did have an archivist who worked with us just for a little while, and she said, she was down here, and she said to me, the end room, there used to be a spiral staircase, hadn't there? And I just looked at her because that had gone, and she hadn't worked here. And it was a spiral staircase from where the cafe is down to here. And I said, yeah. She said, I am psychic, she said, and I know there's a lady there. Well, we do know that the librarian I told you lived here, and we know his wife died here.
As well as the man, the painter?
As well as the painter. The painter was in the 70s, this was in the 1800s. We know that in the 1950s that there was a murder. Now there's a panel here, and I'm going to take you through in a minute. There are 2 basement toilets, and the entrance used to be outside the library, it was public toilets. And we have... well, I know from my experience hearing from other people that there was a woman murdered in one of those toilets.